Hello, everyone. Export is an important part of international trade. In this part, let's learn the basic procedures of export. The basic procedures of export consist of 4 stages: preparation, negotiation, performance, and post-events. The procedures of export illustrated in the following are based on CIF terms, payment of LC. The first stage is making preparation for exporting. First, market research. When selecting the target market, factors related to the country may well worth investigating, including its cultural background, economic situation, infrastructure, political climate, current import and export statistics, and information on trade barriers and restrictions. Second, formulate sales operating and pricing projects of the exported commodity. Third, carry out marketing and promotion to make your products and company known by the public. Fourth, source contacts with potential partners. There are various channels through which one can make contacts with potential foreign partners, like trade fairs, direct sales, direct mail, manufacturers' representatives, wholesalers, distributors, personal contacts, etc. In order to ensure your rights and benefits, you need to study the credibility of the partners, trying to get their credit reference from local banks, and know about their business range and annual sales volume, their major customers, and financial conditions. The second stage is business negotiation. First, inquiry and reply to inquiry. Business negotiation starts with inquiry, which is a request for business information such as price list, catalog, samples, and details about the goods. Normally, it is the buyer who inquires about the information of products or services of the seller, and the seller who provides the information. Second, offer and counteroffer. An offer can be an answer to the inquiry, or can be initiated by either seller or buyer without inquiry. In general practice, when an offeree receives an offer, he usually will not accept it immediately, but would make a new offer as a reply, which is regarded as counteroffer. Third, acceptance. If an offer or counteroffer is accepted by the offeree, an agreement is reached between the seller and the buyer and becomes effective when a contract is concluded. Fourth, establishment of a contract. A trade contract is an agreement which is concluded between the seller and the buyer based on an accepted offer, and which sets forth the obligations of the parties concerned. The third stage involves the preparation, performance of an export contract. First, apply for export license. Generally, the exporter needs to apply for the export license from the authority after the contract is signed. Next, examine an LC. Under a contract with the LC as its payment term, the importer is required to open the LC on time. In case it may delay for some reasons, the exporter should urge the extension of the LC. Upon receipt of the relevant LC, the exporter then must check it again against the sales contract carefully to ensure all terms and conditions in the LC are in strict conformity with those in the contract. If some discrepancies are found, the exporter should urge the importer to amend the LC as quickly as possible. The seller won't make shipment until he has got an effective, complete, and acceptable LC. Next, get goods ready. This step may take place well before the examination of the LC. Check name of commodity, specification, quantity, packing and marking, etc. Next, book the shipping space. At the time when goods are being prepared, the exporter should contact the shipping company or its agent to charter or book shipping space. Chartering is required for goods of large quantity which need full shipload, while booking shipping space will do for goods in relatively small quantity. Next, apply for mandatory inspection. If the goods need to be inspected as requested by the stipulations of the government or of the contract, the exporter should obtain the mandatory inspection certificates from the authorized institutions before shipping. Next, cover insurance. Under the CIF, the exporter will cover the marine cargo insurance before the shipment according to the contract and LC. Next, clear goods for export. After having the goods inspected, before the goods are loaded, the exporter should have the goods carried to the wharf and apply for customs clearance. He needs to complete certain customs formalities, filling in certain forms, and submitting appropriate documents such as commercial invoice, export license, copy of sales contract, inspection certificate, packing list, shipping order, and other relevant documents. Only when the customs confirms the export goods, charges the duty, and stamps on the shipping order, could the goods be loaded on board. Next, get the goods loaded. When all the goods are loaded on board, the shipping company or the shipping agent will issue a bill of lading against the mate's receipt, which is the evidence of loading the goods on board. After having the goods loaded and getting the bill of lading, the exporter sends loading advice to the buyer. Last, present documents for bank negotiation. Having finished the shipping of the goods, the exporter is to prepare and present all the necessary documents specified in the LC or the contract for the negotiation of payment. The documents generally include commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, insurance policy, inspection certificates, etc. In some cases, a certificate of origin and a consular invoice may be required. The last stage is post-event stage. There is some follow-up work after the export. After being paid, the exporter should submit relevant documents to the State Administration of Foreign Exchange to handle verification of export receipt, and then to get export tax refunding from tax authority. If there would be some complaints or claims arising from breach of contract or risks in transit, both importer and exporter have to settle disputes according to the situation. Another thing they need to do is to place the relevant contracts, documents, and materials on files for future reference. That's all for the introduction to the basic procedures of export.